Well, hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Jared. This is Justice's Waiting Room, a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. So I'm a moment late there this morning. Uh, my furnace is out, so if I look a little sweaty, my air conditioner's out. I got someone coming to mow my yard, and top it all off. Check this out. Never in my life, still banned appeal and review on TikTok. And I reviewed the video that they are using and saying, like, this is why we banned you. It's from when I said, what do you mean you think you're going to die in a nuclear holocaust? If you live in the United States and you think you're going to die of a nuclear holocaust, then that means that I'm going to die of a nuclear holocaust. And I don't want that to happen. So I'm taking a good hard think about that. I am anticipating a text from somebody I'm trying to do business with. So you may be stepping away for a moment. So every morning when we get going, we listen to Edwin Starr's War as our opening song. It's pretty relevant, I'd say. I want to point out that Donald Trump, the art of the deal, one graduation down. Tonight is that girl's high school graduation. Then he'll be selling feet pics to pay for college, right? Come on, that was funny. Timely, relevant. Oh, best news ever, right? So everybody hates to admit when they're wrong. I count myself among those that hates to admit when I'm wrong. But you know how yesterday we started a little early, we ended a little early. I got shit to do today, right? I yeah, it's hot as a motherfucker outside. Um I gotta listen for a sound of a vehicle approaching, so keep in mind I might black myself out and go pay this guy. I gotta pay somebody to take care of my yard. It's unmanageable. Um but yeah, our furnace or air conditioner is garbage yesterday. And then yeah, Donald Trump's pissed off about what he did. Um, the art of the deal, though. Donald Trump, again, has tried to negotiate for entire countries and basically being like, oh, oh, peace between you two, agree, kiss, make up. And that's not how that shit works. The the president of the United States, yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Can you imagine you have no air conditioning in your house and you got to do all that yard work? Like, oh my God. And that's a work day at work. Like, that's too much work. Um, but yeah, I mean it's today is the day. If you live in New York City, make sure you vote for Zoran Mamdani, sorry. Scheduled to be outside. I cannot fathom attending a high school graduation post-COVID. I know that we want to make it's about the kids and all that shit, and it's just like it's 2025. There's got to be something better to do than a multi-hour outside ceremony, especially under this heat dome. But yeah, everybody likes to be I was gonna say, everybody, nobody likes to be wrong, right? So I want to point this out. I love my wife to death. She didn't do anything wrong. Okay. Uh, I started the show early and ended it early yesterday so that I could make it to the vet clinic around the corner from the house. So I'm dead ass. We stopped 15 minutes early. I had that cat and the carrier in my hands and was getting ready to walk out the fucking door yesterday. I was gonna be there. Okay. I have this Bruce motherfucking Wayne in my hands. I have the cat carrier in the other hand because I ain't putting my cat in a cat carrier until it gets there. He can just sit in the passenger seat. What the fuck? Right? I'm assuming. So I'm getting ready to walk out the door and my phone rings and it was the veterinarian. It's like, hey Jared, your appointment is at 9 o'clock. It's after 9:10. We're gonna make you reschedule. And I was like, oh God. We have like we have 6 animals that we get treated at this place. You don't want to piss them off, right? And I was like, oh my God. My wife told me that the appointment was at 9:30, and of course, I texted my wife. I'm like, hey, what time is Bruce's appointment? And she was like, 9, and I was like, yeah, you told me it's at 9:30. I did the show. We stopped early. I'm track down Bruce Wayne. Do you know how hard it is to capture the bat? I had him in the palm of my hands, carrier in hand. I'm ready to fucking go. We're on a cusp. Yeah, we're gonna have to reschedule that. You're late. I'm like, son of a bitch. Yeah, that was pretty funny, I gotta admit. You know how hard it is to capture the bat? Uh, Shit. But yeah, so we rescheduled it, and then I'm not like overwhelmed. I'm whelmed, that's for sure. Um, I took a half day at work. I'm, by the way, crushing at work. So if any of you that watch the show have called in and done business, I have no idea because every person that I talk to is buying. So if you wanted to talk about consumer confidence, in my eyes, that shit went out the window when this shit in Iran and Israel started. Everybody's like, "Yep, fuck it, I ain't paying these bills no more." So it has turned out to be a great little week. Yeah, yeah. I named a cat Bruce Wayne, like Batman, except he's Tubby, so he is no Batman. Um, but yeah, I posted a something in Discord this morning that was so good. This lady's so good. You can tell she's struggling like a motherfucker through this, but she still makes helly TikToks, and I share them with our live. But not everybody that's in our live. It's just some old lady, but she's absolutely brilliant. She has great. What am I doing? Oh, posting in the chat. Yeah, Karen the Catwoman. She's but she's a lovey-dovey cat. She's not like Bruce. Bruce is uh Bruce is constantly, yeah, I mean he is like Batman. He's constantly embroiled in battle with the dogs. But not in like the bapping at their face shit. Mostly like hide and seeking. That's what he does. That's his whole day. But understand that all of this shit is a fucking distraction. 100%. Donald Trump started a war in Iran to distract from the largest protest in American history, to distract from the fact that Donald Trump's all over the Epstein files, to distract from the fact that a far right Christian nationalist killed elected officials and wounded others. It's a distraction from the crowd, the army's effort level during that parade, and the crowd size. It's meant to distract from that. It's meant to distract from the fact that ICE is running out of money and they're running out of money and they're getting desperate. They are abducting American citizens. They're still covering their faces, which again should be illegal. If you're law enforcement, you should always have to identify yourself as a law enforcement officer. And if you do not, I hope the worst. hmm hmm If you're not willing to do it right, if you're not willing to do it right, you must be Alfred, Bruce's butler. That's for goddamn sure. hmm But yeah, Jilly Ye is she's great. hmm But yeah. Oh, and Donald Trump wanted to distract from the fact that the 2024 US election is in question. So I understand that he telegraphed bombing Iran's nuclear enrichment sites and they moved all their assets. So that was a zero-sum game. There was absolutely nothing gained, everything lost. I just want to point this out. The President of the United States is a fucking idiot. Okay? And as we've said before, and we say every day, fucking free Palestine. I saw a sign yesterday that I'm gonna remake. May the screams you ignore haunt you every night. I'm not ignoring them. Not ignoring them. When I see a video of like gore happening in Israel, I make myself watch that shit. Because if you're not, you're in fucking denial about what really is going on in the world. There's a reason we sit here every day for 90 minutes and talk about what's going on in the world. And as I've said before, Donald Trump's plan with Gaza is to clear it the fuck out. He sees that as the Riviera. He wants to put a resort there. And the U.S. wants Israel there. The U.S. wants Israel there because they're a strategic ally, an unfortunate ally that was created in 1948 by David Ben-Gurion, who was then the head of the Jewish Agency. The whole purpose of Israel is to mimic the United States imperialist and expansionist ways. They're doing what they were created to do. I'd also argue Donald Trump started this war in Iran and between Iran and Israel to fuck up the G7, to make it about something other than the failed Russian invasion of Ukraine. Fucking Slava Ukraine. And here's Senator Van Hollen saying Donald Trump ignored intel. Didn't have bad intel. He ignored it. Okay. And understand when you bomb a country, there are consequences. Iran maintains, owns, um, owns the Strait of Hormuz. which is a vital shipping thoroughfare. And that they closed that? Man, that's 20% of global trade passes through the Strait of Hormuz. One out of every five shit you buy, I guess, is a way to explain it. Donald J. Trump will be at the Iowa State Fairgrounds on July 3rd. Mark, if you live in fucking Iowa, this is your goddamn chance to protest that motherfucker live. Or to make sure that no one you know or care about goes. Oh, by the way, here's a rumor I'm willing to spread about a piece of shit human being. The rumor from Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell says Jeffrey Epstein videotaped Donald Trump with his victims. So now you know why all this shit's happening. That makes sense now. Yeah, ICE has deported 70 US citizens. Imagine you pulled from your home, taken from your community, actual US citizens. And understand that deportation is it's a legal avenue. It's a court case. It's not public and ugly and messy. And that's why Donald Trump doesn't like deportation and he prefers rendition, which is what this is rending someone. It's kidnapping them, it's trafficking them, but ultimately the correct term for what this president has chosen to do is rendition. Every day I get on here, every day I get on here is me risking rendition, as Donald Trump has deported 70 American citizens already. But yeah, here's of course Donald Trump says he's not happy with Israel. That's asinine. It's his fault. Hmm. I wanna point out that Democrats are still saying there was no fraud in the 2024 US election despite the evidence on the contrary. That unwillingness to turn that corner is a problem. The unwillingness to say there is outstanding data that suggests that Donald Trump and his regime cheated in the 2024 US election, and it has a lot to do with Leonard Leo selling a company to Peter Thiel, billionaire and billionaire. Okay. Yep. Well, I think they're in denial, right? Where they absolutely can't believe that anybody uh, would want to, yeah, the U.S. is building concentration camps in foreign countries. So I think part of the reason that the Democrats are like still saying that that was a legitimate election, part of the reason they're doing that, mm, part of the reason they're doing that is because they're not trying to make themselves a target. So I know it's complicated, but imagine if Democrats were out here saying investigate the 2024 US election. They've already been killed. They've already killed lawmakers. They've already, I mean, obviously it was a crazy person, it was an isolated incident. That person's fucking insane. Remember, it's not us who's crazy. It's not us who's crazy. And here's Iran firing at U.S. military bases, which have missile defense systems built in, which are intercepting. So understand the Supreme Court is going to allow this administration to deport people to third world countries, to third countries without notice. But understand that it is bypassing due process. It's a violation of your amendment of your rights as an American citizen, and that basically what he's doing is he's forcing people like Kilmar Abrego Garcia to go through a whole bunch of shit, and then he's gonna sue and he's gonna get money. hmm all he's done is galvanize the people that were speaking out against him that he's like arresting. They lived. They lived to tell the tale. He chickened out. Donald Trump in a real war for power, the the mighty president fells his detractors. Mahmoud Khalil. There was the girl very early on that was super outspoken against him that got arrested. She got released. So yes, it's horribly traumatic. And those people, I'm not at all trying to be like, that ain't no big deal. No, it's a horrific thing that they went through. But he chickened the fuck out. He didn't have the balls to end their lives because Donald Trump always chickens the fuck out. And now, and now the Supreme Court's enabling Donald Trump to continue to do what they're doing. And with ICE running out of money and Donald Trump getting more desperate, what do you think's gonna happen to that big beautiful bill? I'm willing to bet you that that big beautiful bill is gonna get cut the fuck up. And in the meantime, you gotta download the Five Calls app. You gotta call your state reps. You gotta. It's remember, impeachment starts in the House. So you gotta call your House reps, tell them to impeach Donald Trump, and then you gotta call your senators. Like, why would some TikTok person pointed out how dilated his eyes were during the TV Iran announcement. So, so he was high. Awesome. Zero Kaz reported after Iran attacked U.S. bases in Qatar. Fucking crazy. The President of the United States thanked Qatar for telegraphing their missile strike. I'm reading this case. But yeah, here. A lot of people are looking for guidance around this time. And again, as we do every day, we say, listen, the most powerful, most wealthy people in the United States are responsible for this shit. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Peter Thiel, David Sachs, Donald J. Trump, J.D. Vance. Those are your enemies. Leonard Leo. There's six of them. The unfuckables. Stephen Miller included. Right? But they own shit that everybody uses and refuse to give up. They own Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter, fucking Amazon. What do I said every day? You got to get rid of them. You got to get them off your phone. I got them off my phone. I wouldn't tell you to do something if I wasn't willing and able to do it. You got to stop using them. There's zero excuse. Zero excuse. Not with the volume of users on Blue Sky. It no longer tracks to use those apps because there's more active users on Blue Sky. So you are losing an audience by still interacting on those other sites that have less active users and more bots. Mhm. It's a little May 30th. Dead ass. I was gonna share this article too, but I don't know what the fuck. Here's a little more. Yeah, they made Cece. You're looking at it the wrong way. They swore these people into the army. Now they're subject to the UCMJ, which is a stricter form of punishment. So, okay. Yep. Stacy Marie, 5,000 followers on Blue Sky. Yeah, you should be following each other on Blue Sky. I've posted many a day. If you aren't following me on Blue Sky. But yeah, make sure if you haven't already, get rid of Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter. Stop shopping on Amazon. Start a business locally. Get to know your neighbors. Shit like that. Um, a lot of people have said, there is no movement that will work without daily protest. Bitch, that already happened. It started on May 1st. It's called the May Day Movement. That shit is in the chat. MaydayMovementUSA.org. I've been saying on here, the path forward is you joining a fucking union. I joined Work in America. You could join Work in America. Okay. Morning, Beck. Join a union. Get off Facebook, IG, Threads, WhatsApp, Messenger, Twitter. His new GOP tax bill wants to allow people to put silencers on their weapons. Why the fuck you need a silencer? You're not doing covert ops, bro. Fuck you need a silencer for? Here's Mahmoud Khalil describing ICE detention. 2-minute video there for you. Don't look away. Voice of hunger. By the way, a lot of people have been saying the US is at war, have no fucking clue what they're talking about. Here's the Vice President of the United States in the last 48 hours saying we are not at war with Iran. We're at war with its nuclear weapons program. And I just wanted to point out that Iran moved all their shit, and those were zero impact bunker buster bombs. Really expensive bombing run for nothing. It didn't do anything. And Iran's response telegraphed. Hmm. Effectively just a test of your missile defense system. Garbage. You see the real crazy motherfuckers in the world, Putin, Musk, Ayatollah, They're old. Old as fuck. They're the only three people left on Earth that still want to do this shit. Every time I see JD Vance, all I can think of, how did he not get suffocated by a couch? You know what I mean? What's a stupid way to say? Hey, judge me, Gabby. What's a stupid way to say what? Well, I guess we're just gonna sit here until Gabby tells us what was a stupid thing to say. Oh, that. Oh, but yeah, like Trump and Bibi and Putin, they're all old as balls. They're the only people on Earth that still want to do all this. Yeah, Vance is fucking stupid. And keep in mind, Peter Thiel is the CEO of Palantir. Palantir's funding ICE. ICE is almost out of fucking money. Oh, by the way, ICE doesn't have real bullets in their guns or real warrants. They only get paid $23,000 a year. The big beautiful bill is trying to give them all like a $50,000 bonus. So we want to make sure you download the Five Calls app. Start calling your senators and tell them vote no on this dumbass bill. Fucking insane. Zeke. Markets, voters, and momentum. If Fordo had been destroyed, we would have seen volcanic craters, electromagnetic disruption, emergency flights, seismographs lighting up, and infrared flares under the mountain. It was just more fortified than that. Wonder if he has a makeup person just for his eyeliner. Yeah. Yo, that's fucking crazy, bro. So I just shared Yvette Hoffman, the wife of Minnesota State Senator John Hoffman. She and her husband were shot and wounded by the same man who murdered State Rep Melissa Hortman. Uh, so Yvette Hoffman, her daughter and husband John, Senator John Hoffman, were lined up execution style. They were all together in their entryway in a row with our hands on top of our heads. She may not have gotten shot because of all of the commotion, but she was front and center with us. After we were incapacitated, she knew to go lock the door and call the police and inform them that Senator Hoffman and her mom were shot. Like I said, normally I would be spitting anti-gun shit because there's no goddamn reason. You shouldn't have to arm yourselves. You should turn your swords into plowshares and grow a fucking garden and wait out the heat death of the universe. And instead, you're gonna have to fight. By the way, that's fine by me. That's fine by me. That's what I'm good at. I think you need to protect yourself, and you need to understand that people wearing masks without warrants, they don't get, you know what I'm saying? People with masks on without warrants, with no bullets in their guns, uh, physically assaulting people as they take them into custody do not deserve to live. Put them down like a dog. Like I said, don't even bother with a pistol. You gonna miss with a pistol. You ain't gonna miss with a fucking Mossberg. Make it fucking happen. Protect yourself. Don't let yourself get fucking arrested. And the worst part about it is you can't kill the killer. You can't kill that guy that killed those people because you make him into a martyr. And then there are copycat killers. There would still be copycat killers if he lives. It's just the likelihood of that is lower. Homegrown religious extremism. There's a lot of people that I'm friends with that are still religious, that are unable to let this shit go. But I just want you to know that that same God that your stubborn ass will not let go of creates extremists who kill us, all of us. So at some point, you're going to have to figure out if it's worth it or not. And so far, a lot of you have decided that your faith is worth it. I choose people. He said sleeper cells can be activated. Yeah. You've got a lot of really cruel people out there that they honestly they've just been fed a lot of malarkey. They believe that this is like the end time, right? Hey buddy. My buddy Edmund coming in, say hi today. Here, here. Come on, come on. That's my buddy. That's my buddy. Okay, okay. Look, everybody want me to see Edmund? Come on, it's the star of the show. Yeah, there goes Donald Trump's Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of protests going on. Yeah, yeah. Understand that the people that are pretending to be ICE agents um, are LARPing. Yeah. They don't have real bullets in their guns. They don't have real warrants. They're not identifying themselves. They don't have badges. It could really be anyone. Hmm. And I wouldn't take them seriously. If I saw them, I'd be like, unmask yourself, identify yourself, show me a badge, or we have a new problem. Remember who's calling it World War III is Steve Bannon. Oh, and part of the reason that a lot of people want Israel to win and exist is so they have someplace to go if they ever feel exiled by their community for whatever bullshit they pull here. So know that part of the reason that there's silence from Democrats is because they receive money from AI PAC and they're probably scared for their lives, which again is not a good reason to be a politician. If you're scared, go to fucking church. You don't deserve to be in leadership. But in this country, we don't care about that shit, right? About how much money can you raise. And also, the president of the United States cannot be posting messages on um, TikTok. Yeah. Yeah, I grew up in the church as well. I was confirmed in the Methodist church when I was like 15, 16 years old. Okay. But at some point, you have to acknowledge that that same church that you go to repent and to socialize, somebody else that goes to your church is a horrible fucking person. And they use that same faith that you do as a shield for all their horrible behavior. And what ends up happening when somebody has to protect themselves from the impacts of their behavior, they seek leadership positions so they can shield themselves further. So it ends up being the papal, the people, not necessarily the priests, but the people that work for the church that end up being pieces of shit. How do I know? Because my fucking family was deeply invested in our church growing up. And we found out the people most connected to the church were the biggest pieces of shit. Hmm. Yeah. I can imagine growing up gay in the Catholic Church. Probably not great. Well, you're certainly fucking welcome here, and you being gay is probably the best thing about you, and not at all like a bug. So you're certainly welcome here, Zeke. What's amazing is that I didn't know that you were gay until right now. So it tells you how little I judge, how little I actually front my friends on shit like that. But Zeke, one of my best friends for many moons. Yeah, like pushing north of a decade. Um, he came out last year and told me he was trans. And I was like, okay, so what's changing? And they're like, well, I'm not gonna wear masculine clothing anymore. I'm like, okay, how's that change for you? I'll probably wear more flowing shirts and pants. I'm like, that sounds more comfortable. And I was like, as long as you're happy, that's all that matters. It certainly is not on me to judge you. And if there was a God, let me pontificate on the possibility, the potential of a deity. If there's a God, he rejoices when you're happy. It's that simple. You have to think about, what does a God do? What does a God do? A God would be happy for you when you're happy. That's right. A God would want you to chase happiness, right? Yeah, some people are willing to put up with abuse and some people aren't, you know? Some people aren't willing to sit in a house of sin. I mean, you gotta understand the Catholic Church is the largest landowners in the world. They owned slaves well after it was abolished. And again, I would just point out all of the homeless people in the world and how the Catholic Church is the largest landowner in the world. Still millions of homeless people? Still millions of people are gonna starve? You ever seen you ever seen like these Catholic churches? They're gaudy. It's not your faith. I'm never attacking someone's opinion. It's everything that surrounds that is fucking evil. Just as evil as Israel, just as evil as the United States. Think about the Crusades. Think about the development of Catholic Church, right? The development of the Catholic Church, the positioning of the Catholic Church. Is it wise? Is it godly? That's one of the things I learned when I was growing up in the church and being confirmed, right? Is what your church does godly? Because too frequently the answer is fucking no. If your church is not prioritizing working with the community, feeding the hungry, housing the homeless, finding the poor and lifting them up in your community, finding the single parents, finding the gay people in their community and lifting them up too. And they don't fucking do that. And you know how I fucking know? Because I was in youth group. Because I went to Bible study. I met the people that went to my church every year for years, and nobody gave a fuck about them. So again, it's never your faith. Faith can be good. It can be what sustains you, gets people through hard times. I'm all about that shit. You want to talk about God? You want to talk about your faith in Jesus? I'm about it. Be real careful about bringing up where you went to church, because if it's Southern Baptist, if it's Catholic, I'm gonna have words. I'm gonna have words. Yeah, I'm a stone cold atheist. There are no gods. When you die, you're worm food. You should rejoice in that. From ash you came, and to ash you shall return. Rejoice. Earth is giving you heat. They're helping. They're going to show us hell on earth, that's for sure. Be real careful about who you worship. Because a lot of people stopped worshiping God and stopped trying to be more Christ-like. We're no longer happy for others. We're jealous and petty. Yeah, there's lots of great Christian people that I've met in my life, and there's just as many fucking shit people. And I want to point out that this is, by the way, still a nation of laws. Okay? So no matter what happens, people are like, "Oh, we aren't a nation of laws anymore." Really? That's crazy, because it seems like every time this administration tries to do some shit, a court shuts it down. So which is it? Oh, Donald Trump's defying a court order. That's not the same. That's not the same thing. I know that it's difficult. Mm. Yeah, they should definitely tax churches to the fullest extent. If they can engage in politics, they can pay taxes. It's that simple. As long as the church around the corner from my house, as long as that church no longer hosts elections and is allowed to advertise for who they want to win, they can pay fucking taxes. Churches paying taxes does not make church and state one. It means that if the church is going to engage in activities that a tax-paying business is engaging in, they should be a tax-paying business. Remember, you can shield your faith. There is no sense in shielding the church. Do you get it? You need to separate those things. Yeah. In my eyes, the church and police act the same, where the church doesn't protect people. The church protects property, land. Same thing as police. Police don't protect people, police protect property. Like I said, remember how I told you that crazy fucking story um about my 21st birthday? The guy I was buddies with that was supposed to be my sober driver showed up drunk and we had this wild ass ride home and we got taken to a drunk tank and we're only in there for a little bit. The worst part about all of this whole fucking story, is that for a while the church whose yard we went through, yeah, they pray before Congress starts. How is that? Yeah. Joyce Meyer Ministries in here in Missouri is a huge gated compound and doesn't pay a penny in taxes. Yeah. When I was in high school, my Methodist church built like a $3+ million facility across the street from a park. Don't worry, church was humongous and made more than it cost. That's not the point. The point is that that giant multi-million-dollar building did not house homeless people. It didn't. The soup kitchen, my mom ran it. It wasn't used to feed the community. It was used to feed the congregation. Don't forget, we just had the on in June we just had the largest protest in U.S. history. I'm for this. There is a 1,000 ship flotilla headed from Malaysia to Gaza. A coalition of Malaysian civil society organizations has announced an ambitious campaign to launch a 1,000-ship flotilla to break Israel's 17-year blockade of the Gaza Strip in what is being described as the largest maritime mobilization of its kind. The initiative, led by the Malaysian Consultative Council of Islamic Organizations (MAPIM), aims to send vessels from across the globe carrying humanitarian aid to the besieged Palestinian enclave in defiance of Israel's naval embargo. Organizers say the flotilla will be larger and more organized than the 2010 Freedom Flotilla, which ended with the killing of 10 activists by Israeli forces aboard the Mavi Marmara. Speaking at a press conference in Kuala Lumpur on Saturday, MAPIM President Azmi Abdul Hamid said the campaign was a direct response to Israel's genocidal war on Gaza. We cannot remain silent while entire families are being wiped out and starvation is used as a weapon. The global community must act when international institutions fail. That's dope. Yeah, so Gabby, the problem is frequently people fail to receive the full message. The idea is that it only takes 3.5% of the US population, or about 10 or 12 million people, for it to result in great change. Think about how close elections are, right? Think about how close elections are. If 12 million people are fucking protesting, it's gonna change the outcome of elections. It's gonna change public opinion and discourse. Um, One of the things to point out is how these protests have been peaceful. How the President of the United States called in the National Guard and federalized them. And as soon as he did that, he had no control and power. Only 300 of the 2,000 requested showed up. He sent in the fucking Marines and found out the fucking hard way. The only thing that you can do is make Marines guard federal buildings. That's it. Yeah. It's sustained action, though. A lot of people are out here saying the wrong thing, which is it's 3.5% of the U.S. population attending a protest. It's not. It's 3.5% of the people engaged consistently. It's gonna take 12 to 15 million people to make systemic change. hmm It doesn't take 335 million. Nope. Think about how close elections are. Elections come down to a few people. hmm Yeah. The thing that this generation will be, Cease, is we will be more uh, likely to cut someone off because of who they are and what they do and what they represent, right? I don't care what comes out of your mouth. I care about what you do as a person. And if what you do doesn't match what comes out of your mouth, guess what? I'm not fucking with you at all. So when I read shit about Joyce Meyer, who has a huge gated compound but doesn't pay taxes, and you're like, I like her, my mom liked her. And it's like, right, she's a raging capitalist who would rather people starve from her home community than support it. So do you see how it doesn't make sense now in 2025 to be like, oh, I like Joyce Meyer? I don't. I hope something terrible happens to her. She is uncaring. She is unkind. She lives in a gated mansion. She does not deserve that. And the beautiful thing about all of this is that she ain't going to heaven, so I ain't got nothing to worry about, right? She's a bad person. Just like Joel Osteen is a fucking bad person, right? All these televangelists are capitalists. They're bad people. They would let people starve so they can make millions. There is no redeeming that. No, but it's a good conversation to have. Again, I'm not attacking your faith. I don't care what you believe in. That doesn't have anything to do with anything. Each man's faith is his own. It literally is written in your Bible, right? So this is going to sound weird. I read that Joe Biden only has a few months left to live. What would happen? Would DJT allow a state funeral? I don't know that he gets to have any say in that. I can imagine, he's going to be a dickhead over that, right? But yeah, this generation is going to be a lot different about saying, look, you can call yourself a Christian all day long. But if you're a capitalist to the point where you have a mansion while there are sick, homeless people dying in your community and you aren't housing them, Marines guard the gates of heaven. It's on me to decide. That's Joel Osteen. That's all those televangelists. Yeah, the problem with Joe Biden is that, man, he was awfully supportive of Israel. Same thing with Kamala Harris. Awfully supportive of Israel. And again, the thing about this regime is that you don't have to do anything. They will self-destruct. That's one of the hallmarks. How do we know only a few months left? Wasn't he just in Texas? I don't. That's what Gabby said, right? Becca said in Texas, our governor line item vetoed a bill that would feed hungry kids during the summer. I don't get it. Yeah. So this bill, the bullshit bill, um, food stamp plan violates Senate rules. Donald Trump lost his Peace Prize nomination. If Tallarico runs for governor and he doesn't win, I'm okay with giving Texas to Mexico. The only faith-based candidate you like, huh? Hey, remember in New York, Mayor Mamdani, Zohran Mamdani, by the way, is a socialist. Okay. And remember, there are only 78,000 members of the Democratic Socialists of America. There's a reason that I'm not a part of DSA. Democracy is only as good as it holds. Democracy is only as good as the rules that are created that are followed, and people are punished for the things that they do. And when they're not, you don't have a democracy. So I'm not a democratic socialist. I am a socialist, and your democracy is fine as long as it holds. But it doesn't seem to hold. It seems to. Gabby said I'm perfectly fine if the Northeast joins Canada too. I just hope that Iran is not intending to attack Americans on American soil. A lot of people are like, well, if it's a bad guy, then yeah, I'm cool with it. And it's just like, no, man, bad juju to want violence against other Americans. Wanting better for other Americans, that's good. He said, "I wonder how Trump's flight to the Netherlands would go." See, that's a real question, Cease. That's something really going on here. I just want to point out, because we always bring up New York, that Donald Trump is basically banned from New York. I'll pet my dog. He makes you tired. If masked federal agents without warrants were grabbing your cousins from Home Depot because of expired fishing licenses, I bet you'd be getting loud as fuck too. Who's really running the show? Vladimir Putin, uh, Benjamin Netanyahu, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, Peter Thiel, David Sachs, Leonard Leo. Sold out, by the way. Because radioactive fallout is not the way to go. No, nope. I've played all those games. You know what Fallout teaches you? You know the body armor that you wear in Fallout, the big gaudy robot armor that protects you from radiation? Yeah, that shit doesn't exist. G. So when we nuke ourselves and make the Earth completely uninhabitable, just know those giant fucking robot-like body armor pieces that protect you from radioactivity, um, those aren't real. Hmm. Yep. One of the things that I learned in my disdain for Elon and Donald and all them is that because of, by the way, none of you give a shit, but I'm going to show you anyway. So I try to make conscious decisions when I buy magic cards, okay? And I bought this version of Counterspell because it has a black woman on it. See? There's a Counterspell with a dude, there's Counterspells with other art in it, but I chose these Counterspells because they have a black woman on them. And the deck I'm playing has um women characters, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, it was well into the 90s yesterday here in Indy. Yeah, Dragon Rage Channeler is a woman. I don't know what Silksong show off is. It's a bird. Never mind. Mm, Wizards. He stopped talking in the middle of the sentence. Yeah, I have PTSD, compartmentalization syndrome, and then I also my mind wanders. Um, you have to forgive me. Fortunately, it doesn't happen when I'm like at work. I stopped talking because I like read a sentence, right? 105, 110 in the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia. It's not normal. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that my air conditioner is new and it's out already. Bananas shit. Yeah, I was in the middle of a phone call yesterday when I broke out into a fucking sweat and normally what happens is I get cold in the beginning of a phone conversation, but as the call starts to warm up, I get warm. Yesterday I broke out in a fucking sweat and that's how I knew my furnace wasn't working. So yeah, make sure you stay cool, stay in the shade. South Carolina is so hot, the pool's now hot tub. Oof, oof. This is the part where lots of people muerte. That's what I'm worried about. If you wondered what keeps Jared up at night, is knowing all the people, like homeless people, don't have anywhere to go. Yeah, he's zoned from Illinois all the way east. Yeah, I seen that big heat bubble. Hmm. Aren't you glad we protested before that heat? Woo-wee. And they're trying to protest the weekend of July 4th next. I don't know if we talked about that enough. I think July 5th and 7th is what I've seen. Zeke, it's almost July, buddy. It's the hottest part of the year. It is. It is the um you're just gonna see places that don't normally get the 110s and 115s and 120s are gonna get those. See, if you haven't been all over the United States and lived all over the United States, then you don't understand how different the weather is all over this big, beautiful, massive ass country. And that for lots of Americans, it doesn't get over 100 degrees. For lots of fucking people, it never gets over 100 degrees. That includes me here in Indiana. It doesn't get over 100 degrees here. In other parts of the country, it's over 100 degrees all summer long. This heat is not normal. It is not normally this hot. Yep. Think about it. Fucking animals, man. There's a reason we have fucking 4 dogs and 2 cats, right? But keep in mind, we had to put down a dog because she got too old, and we had to give a dog back because he tried to kill one of the other dogs. So we had seven, six fucking dogs and no cats at that point because people give up their animals when their life gets hard. Ain't that like the saddest thing that I know? So yeah, if you don't live in the DC area, Mayday's not much good for you. So it'd be 50.1. It'd be indivisible. Woohoo! Sorry, I'm tired today, boy. I did not sleep very well last night. I was hot when I got off of work and I couldn't sleep and I didn't want to go lay in bed and sweat. I hate being hot in bed. It's the worst. I mean, unless there's like a reason for that. But yeah, but yeah, there are going to continue to be protests, and the protests are going to keep getting louder. And that 3.5% mark, we already hit that. And think about it, all those people that went and protested um, earlier this month, nothing bad happened, so like they'll continue to protest. Is it just me or is everything calming down a little bit? I mean, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. The president of the United States just bombed Iran and then tried to shoehorn a fucking peace treaty between them. And no, it's a distraction because we just had the largest protests in US history. Donald Trump's poll numbers are fucking disgusting. Nobody likes him or his policies. Um, so yeah, he's doing a lot of distracting, but he's also woohoo! He's also going to The Hague. It's the UN, the what is it, the G7 convention, the UN like an annual thing. So that's part of the reason that it's kind of quiet is because the motherfucker's out of the house. He's going to The Hague. to the fucking Netherlands, which is hilarious because that we'd said Don. I mean, this is a guy that is responsible for more than 1 million people's deaths. Maryland. Yeah, it ain't supposed to be that hot in Maryland. See if we can guess your phone. Somebody said this flow is pretty disgusting too. Oh goodness gracious. All right, here's Eat the Rich from Aerosmith, and we'll get out of here. Hey, Chris, CC, I just want to point out, like, I love you, right? Only and 650 miles. I'm guessing you mean 65? Because if I said I was only 600 miles, 650 miles, what is what is Indianapolis, Indiana, 650 miles from? What is 650 miles from Indianapolis, Indiana? Raleigh, North Carolina. So if I said, I'm just giving you shit, Cease. If I don't give you a hard time, that's how you know. Um, but yeah, that would be like if I said, I'm only 650 miles from Raleigh, North Carolina. Hey, that's where one of my players is. Huh, that's interesting. Anyway, so hey, have I was giving you shit. Yeah, yeah. Visiting the museum in DC opened your eyes to work as journalists or bravery to the point where it's gotten more to bring a line of corruption. Yeah. That's part of the reason that I created my podcast, because I'm not scared. And I will get on here every day and we'll talk about the news and about what exactly is happening. And we will call a spade and we will point out who's doing what. And like I've said before, the bottom line is that I will protect myself should they head my way. Hmm. Yep. And I want you to do that too. So I appreciate you all. I'm sure eventually we'll actually get unbanned from TikTok. Until then, have a good day.